Hare Krishna. So we have to sit a little bit near. No, yeah, we're okay. We just need to sit in the picture. So, dear devotees, yesterday evening, Mahesvari Didi arrived. So let us introduce her or welcome her live. And also, we're waiting for Rupanuga Prabhu to arrive, Vrindavaneshwari Devi to arrive here in Villa Govinda Aparajita. Seva Rupa on her way almost. Bimala Krishna Prabhu and Istadevika somewhere nearby, preparing the meal, I think. Welcome, Gangalila Devidasi and Paramananda Prabhu. There in Japan still, I think, and Gangalila sending a heart to us all. All right, so let us begin. And we begin as we do with our 4 verses. Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitan Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitanscha Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Meditam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gora Tvijay Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. So, dear devotees, we're in the middle of the time when Lord Jagannath is in the Gambhira, when he's in the Gundicha temple. It's early in the morning, remember, here. He's in the Gundicha temple, and it's the time when Mahaprabhu and the devotees can have access again and again, have darshan to Lord Jagannath for the while, for maybe 2 weeks approximately before the Rath Yatra. Remember, Jagannath had bathed and then he'd got cold, he got ill, as it were, in his Leela. So the public did not have access to come to have darshan of Lord Jagannath. So the Jagannath festival is a happy time for all, whether or not the populace, they know why Jagannath has gone from his temple to Gundicha, because it's a time when again they can have darshan. But at this time, Jagannath, Lord Krishna, has returned to Vrindavan, and the Gundicha temple is that area. The not only representation, it is Vrindavan in the Jagannath Puri Dham. So a happy time for devotees. Yesterday, was it second? Yes, yesterday. No, first. Was it, yes, second or first?
Yesterday was the second.
Yesterday was the second, but it was the first that was the day when Lakshmi Devi goes with her associates to chastise the servants of Lord Jagannath, that Lord Jagannath is not coming home back to the Jagannath temple. It's called Lakshmi Vijay, and a happy day, especially for the ladies. They all love to see the men defeated by the ladies, which they are on that day. All right. So, a request to Leela Moy Prabhu, please don't keep me spotlighted forever when others are talking. It is not fair for us, not fair for me. I've got to try and get rid of that spotlight from myself. Okay, look at you all in gallery view. Okay, so we're with you all. And news, what are the news this week? If you like, we can pass the microphone immediately over to Mahesvari Didi, because we can have her very, not first impressions, because she's been here by Zoom many times. She's seen around the temple, around the Pushpa Samadhi, etc., by WhatsApp, etc., different times before. But we can maybe ask her to say a few words on arrival in Villa Govinda.
All right. Dandavat, Maharaj, Dandavat, all devotees. I would preface that by saying the couple of days leading up to my traveling were very challenging. It seemed like everything was going wrong at home, and I had to just stay very steady in my focus and my faith that this was meant to be, and that, you know, Maharaj and Gurudev and Guru Maharaj were really helping me to come here. So I kept the faith, even though flight was delayed 3 hours. I was worried I wouldn't get to here on time for the gates to close. My phone wouldn't work, so I couldn't even call when I arrived. But I got here, and it is so peaceful here. The first thing I was struck by was just the beautiful quiet. So I am very grateful to be here and happy to see you.
Hare Krishna. Well, it won't be peaceful once the Mangalarti begins.
It's a good kind of noise, right?
But it is the summertime, and so the doors on this side where we are seated, the Prasadam hall, they are open in order to let air come in. And the doors of the temple this side are open. And so actually they can hear the kirtan on the other side of the valley, even because it is very quiet early in the morning. So we are happy for that. And we're even happy that somehow or another Krishna has protected us from any kind of disturbance from that side, that people accept we are here. Now it's 23 years or so, a long, long time. So they know we're here. And we're very lucky to have next door neighbors who are devotees. So this way, going on the other side, then we're happy. But still we keep the windows and doors closed on the side which is by the neighbors, out of consideration, because we really, especially when we've got lively kirtaniers, we don't want to disturb them too early in the morning. But after 7:30 a.m. or after 7 a.m., yes, after 7 a.m., they say, oh, it's okay, we can make some sound. Anyway, there's different kinds of sound. And I was also reflecting yesterday on how Srila Guru Maharaj explains that sound can make or sound can mar. In other words, by saying something to you now and to each other now, we can give ourselves much positive direction and give ourselves enthusiasm for going in the right direction. But also now, if we listen to the news or listen to some negative doom, doom, those who say there's going to be doom, there's going to be doom. If we hear these things from convincing preachers of the negative, we'll also become all depressed in our lives, and we lose the point of why we're here. We'll see the world in the pessimistic way. We see the world from the materialistic way. So sound can make or mar. So the sound of kirtan is the best sound. Hare Krishna. All right, Paramananda Prabhu is seated peacefully this week. It's the daytime in Japan, and he's not driving. I know he's seated peacefully when he's driving, but we have him here. So I invite any of you, or all of you can queue up to ask Paramananda Prabhu a question. Anukrishna Didi, would you like to ask a question?
Hello, Dandavats, everyone. So nice to be here. Well, actually, I've been thinking one thing, but I haven't formulated that appropriately. But um, it's something around. I would like to ask Paramananda about this. Um, if you have ever regretted on uh, and mixing, not I don't know if this is the proper way, mixing your personal life with your devotional life, because actually there is no separation. But have you ever thought that you crossed limits? I don't know.
Well, it's an interesting question. First of all, I can never admit that I have any devotional life. But if you mean when I'm trying to do something of substance in connection with the wishes and instruction and desire of the sadhu and Vaishnavas, then yes, you can call it devotional life or attempt to lead the devotional life. And of course, I mean, in due course of our life, I make many mistakes. And yes, I regret when I make mistakes. Certainly. And we hear from our Guru Varga in the Shastra that if we repent sincerely for something wrong that we have done, we couldn't control that particular moment, you do something that is not according to the wishes of your guardians, then yes, the result, I mean, the reactions of those deeds or misdeeds will be burned in the fire of sincere repentance. So this is the hope. But if you're talking about some regret, no, I don't have any regrets. I mean, I only regret when I do something inappropriate, I can say. Otherwise, there is no regret. And I tend not to separate. I tend not to lead two lives, two separate lives. For me, it's just the life. And I don't know how much choices we actually have now. We do have some choices, but not so much. So it came to me since I was very young, and it keeps going. And at some point, I was trying to avoid the association of the devotees. I tried very hard. But Krishna had different plans. And like I said, I was engaged in service in Russia, and some situation happened in that organization, and I decided to withdraw, not to abandon my practice, my personal practice, not to abandon chanting, not to abandon the deity worship I had at that time. And my faith wasn't disturbed by that, but I wanted to distance myself from the association of the devotees who are trying to live up to that name at that moment. And I went far, far away. But soon after I put that distance between me and a known group of devotees that I knew in my life, and other devotees came. And then shortly after that, I was at the lotus feet of Srila Govinda Maharaj. How can I regret that? So even from that point of view, you're trying to run away from Krishna consciousness, from the devotees, but it's following you. Now, how can you regret that? It's only confirmed that very act of me trying to run away only confirmed that Krishna is so merciful and his devotees are so merciful. So I'm very grateful for me trying to run away, because that taught me a lesson. And it was a very clear evidence of God's grace and his existence, and also how his grace been distributed through the medium, and that medium is a devotee. So how can we run away from the devotees? And sometimes we are disturbed by personalities, but we should always keep in mind, we should always focus on what Srila Guru Maharaj described as an inspired, what was it, Maharaj? Inspired nature, inspired heart, devotional heart of that particular person, is it?
The inspired side.
Inspired side, here you go. So we should focus on that. The rest is just some coverings that we acquired during our travels from one universe to another universe and trying to be independent, trying to be the God. That is our problem, and we'll have to deal with that. But like Guru Maharaj pointed out, we shouldn't be disturbed by those setbacks. They look like a setbacks, but actually, again, it's a reminder of what we shouldn't do and which way we shouldn't go. We should just keep steadily going towards the light, we can say. Recently, I've been listening to some Christian preacher, kind of interesting person. So they're always referring to a light. So Krishna is that light. And in the Bible, there's also references to the sound and to the light, but no reference to the personality. Anyhow, we're not going to go in that direction. So, Anukrishna Didi, no much regrets besides my own shortcomings. But then if we regret too much, we may feel, oh, I'm so unqualified, so we will be disabled. No, we should keep going. And even though we're unqualified and some important service is coming, descending to us, and we're making mistakes, we're falling down, it doesn't mean we have to be on the ground all the time and cry how unqualified we are. No. There's a beautiful verse included by Srila Guru Maharaj into Prapanna Jivanamritam, and that is saying, is from the Upanishads, and it is saying that you're falling on the ground, and that very ground will be the support for you to get up. So if you're making offense against the Lord, the only support you can have is Him. So take shelter of Him, regardless of your misdeeds. But some sincere repentance must be there. So we have to remember that. We have to regret it sincerely. And again, I will repeat, all the reactions will be burned in the fire of sincere repentance. That's also Srila Guru Maharaj. And the beautiful verse that Srila Guru Maharaj also had that question to Saraswati Thakur, how to react on those who are misbehaving, going against the law of society, again, against the law of God. And Srila Saraswati Thakur answered that. He gave the first verse he gave was the Bhagavad Gita verse, when it is mentioned, we have to see them as dharmatmas because they're going in the right direction, but some setbacks are there. Still, we have to envision them as sincere souls going towards Krishna. So we shouldn't judge them. And then 6 months later, and this is actually quite amazing, Srila Saraswati Thakur, what was the scale of his preaching? What was the quantity of his disciples and his engagement and so many things? But for 6 months, he kept that question in his heart, question of Srila Guru Maharaj. And after 6 months, while reading Srimad Bhagavatam, he wasn't answering Guru Maharaj's question. He was just giving a talk on Srimad Bhagavatam. He came upon that verse, Vapadamula Bhajata Priyasya verse. And then immediately he pointed out, Guru Maharaj was in the auditorium and he said, Sridhar Maharaj, here is your answer. And there it is also said that if we're sincerely moving towards Krishna, due to our past karma, we may commit some mistakes. There could be some falling down on the path. But if we're sincere in our attempt to go, then Krishna himself will nullify the reactions of those misdeeds that happened due to our past misfortunes that we acquired. Anyhow, I'm going in a little bit of a different direction here, but it's nice to discuss it on a little bit of a deeper level. And of course, I'm just using this opportunity. The Hera Panchami festival just passed, and it is also called Lakshmi Vijaya. And it just happened to be one of my favorite pastimes of Chaitanya Charitamrita. And like Maharaj mentioned, Krishna is already in Vrindavan. He's enjoying, he's back. I mean, it's impossible to understand what Jagannath is feeling when he goes to Gundicha, when he goes to Vrindavan, what Krishna feeling when he goes to Vrindavan. He is in that company. He never leaves Vrindavan, and yet he performs this pastime that increases the ecstasy of both him and his devotees. And his devotees even more, unless, I mean, otherwise, why did he become Mahaprabhu? He was stunned by that ecstasy, stunned by that love. So Krishna is there, and then the consort is arriving. And prior to that journey, he promised that I'm just going to go there for a short time. It's a little holiday. Can I have your permission? And yes, he's giving the permission, but then he is delayed. He is not returning on time. He forgot about all those promises, all that time. Time doesn't really flow there. And then she is very angry. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is described like any woman feels slighted by when she is abandoned by her husband, when there is a lack of attention on the side of the husband. So it's a very peculiar pastime. And then she goes there and very angry. And then she chastises everybody. First, the servitors being beaten and arrested and brought in front and questioned and chastised. And then Lord Jagannath finally admits, oh yes, I'm so sorry. I'm a little bit late. Yes, I'm coming back. And then Srila Gurudev once pointed out, he is giving that honor to his power. The powerful is giving honor. He is again pointing out that the power is above him. It's so wonderful. It's so charming. And then Guru Maharaj, Srila Govinda Maharaj points out, and we're taking shelter of the supreme power, the Hladini Shakti of Krishna, Srimati Radharani. She is our shelter. So in that pastime, it is shown that Krishna is giving to the public, he is giving that, what can be more or less, to some extent, digested by the public, the relationship between Lakshmi and Narayan. But the relationship between Srimati Radharani and Krishna are hidden. And there's this discussion that kind of discloses that a little bit. It's happening there, right in front, while this whole kolahol is going on. Then Sarup Damodar Goswami and Shivastakur, they're having this argument. And Shivastakur, knowing the heart of everyone there, Mahaprabhu's heart, he decided to perform. It was more like a performance, a humorous performance. And so he takes the side of the Lakshmi. And he says, so look how, I mean, really, she has a full right to do so. How wonderful she is. She starts glorifying the Lakshmi Devi, all her qualities, her opulence and her rightful claim of the, Jagannath as her husband and this and that. And then Mahaprabhu smiles because Swarup Damodar Goswami joins the conversation. On the opposite side, he takes the side of the Brajbasis, and not just Brajbasis in general, but he takes the side of the gopis, the Krishna's lovers. And then they're having this conversation. At some point, Mahaprabhu, then Shivastakur is pushing it, and Mahaprabhu with the smile saying, oh, Shivas, be careful. Swarup Damodar, he is a Shuddha Brajbasi. He will never accept the greatness of anyone above his mistress or her mistress, considering that he is the Vishaka Sakhi. Sorry, Lalita Sakhi, excuse me. So be very careful. And during that conversation, Swarup Damodar Goswami reveals the topmost position of gopis of Vrindavan, and especially his own mistress, Srimati Radharani. And again, it is hidden. It's not very obvious in a way. So it can be shared between the devotees. And by that very reason, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was requested by numerous Vaishnavas at that time to compose Chaitanya Charitamrita because he had that wealth. he inherited that well from Swarup Damodar Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Rup Sanatan, and others. And they knew there is more. They knew, they wanted to hear it, but they wanted to come from a proper channel. If you just think about it, how Chaitanya Charitamrita came to be. I mean, all of them were Parshats of Mahaprabhu, those who were requesting Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Some were senior to Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. They knew exactly what is going to appear on the pages of Chaitanya Charitamrita. And yet, they're pushing him forward and they're giving him that power, we can say. Everybody is giving that blessing. And with great humility, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he approaches Madan Mohan Didi. And again, it's important because Madan Mohan Didi represents Sambandhagya, the basis of our understanding of relationship between Krishna and the Jiva soul, and much more. And Madan Mohan is giving the blessing in the form of the garland that he takes it upon himself, the task of compiling Chaitanya Charitamrita in the very advanced age and with some health issues. And that's another thing we can talk one day. Why devotees experiencing all sorts of external body troubles? I mean, we can say, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the eternal Parshats of Mahaprabhu, and he's legally blind, his body failing him, and yet he's taking that task. Anyway, it's another story. So I just wanted to talk about Hera Panchami a little bit. Couldn't resist.
And we are very grateful.
And then I just want to conclude. There's not so many verses that we're hearing from our guardians, glorifying the supreme power, the Srimati Radharani. But this verse we heard so many times, and we have to be very careful and actually unqualified to say so. But I've also heard that when the chance comes, it will be our shortcoming, bordering offense, not to do so. And with the bowed head and folded hands, we can follow our guardians, and they would allow us to recite that. And that's also coming from them, no one else. There's a beautiful verse in which it is described that Srimati Radharani is worshipped by Krishna himself to an extent that when she walks and there is a breeze, and that breeze touches the garments of Srimati Radharani, and then the breeze continues, and then it touches the body of Krishna. And when Krishna feels that breeze, he wants to worship it. He wanted to bow down to that breeze that touched the garment of his dearmost devotee. It's a beautiful verse. Yasya kadapi vasananchila kela norta, danyati danya pavanena kritartamani, yogindu durga magati madhusudanopi, tasmai namostu prishabhanu bhavodishati. And that we heard from our guardians, not once, not twice, but, and it's a beautiful verse. So that pastime is very nice to conclude with this particular statement, I think. Even though I have zero, now zero will be exaggeration, minus qualification to do so.
Hare Krishna, Paramananda Prabhu, we are very grateful. And reminds me when you're saying this verse and some of the earlier topics that you're saying, reminds us how we would sit with Srila Gurudev and very informally, Gurudev is talking with the devotees about these high subject matters. And when we read the books, perhaps we may get the impression he's giving a lecture or giving a formal gathering. But actually, he would reveal and flow with these moods of Krishna, the moods of the devotees, the moods of Srimati Radharani. He would flow with that while in a conversation just with the devotees, welcoming somebody and then saying something comes up which is like starts a little spark of He's telling stories about Krishna's Leela, telling about Krishna's Leela. And actually, Paramananda Prabhu, hearing from you reminded me of those very happy days. And we are fortunate to have you, Prabhu, to share these things with the sharp intellect, to know also these verses, brought up from the age of 14 years old or something, the surrendered service mood in devotional service. We were also brought up with a book distribution, etc., but not in such severe conditions when we joined the temple. And I do think sometimes it was like the university of practical devotional service, meeting the people, being challenged, being abused also sometimes. But we're distributing the books, we're distributing not our business, we're just trying to sell something. We have devotees who are salesmen. One devotee said, "Oh, is it open? Can you?" "Oh, it's open." Okay. We have devotees arriving through unused doors, and I was thinking of a thief coming in. Okay. So, it's Rasarati Devi then. And for those of you who know a little bit around Villa Govinda, she is now staying in the tiny house because we need as much space as we can get. So built by the hands of the devotees, she's staying in the tiny house. And Abhinava Sundar Prabhu and Kelly Kadamba, who could be joining us, I'm not sure, they made some idea that, oh, we want to join. Anyway, they're staying in the caravan outside. So anyway, that's a slight detour from the topic we mentioned. Thought we were about to be robbed. Anyhow, Gurudev's sweetness, this is what I wanted to share. And that we went on the side topic a little bit, that Paramananda brought up, doing book distribution on a big scale in very difficult circumstances. USSR, communist time in Russia. But we also brought up on book distribution in the early days. And when we meet the public and when we have a job to do, as it were, to try to give the words of the spiritual masters, not our words, but their words for people to read and to understand that there's a higher goal in life. When we're given that as a duty to share their words like very directly with the public, then we do face challenges, we do face many things. And it's the practical way to be convinced that what we are doing is right, but also the practical way to address the many challenges that come from outside. And I can say still, so many years later, every week, sometimes every day, some questions come through the correspondence. Now it's age of worldwide correspondence. And the kind of questions come which have not arisen before. And we think, oh my goodness, how many unlimited situations the material world gives to the devotees. Because devotees, they're devotees. They've got the recognition of the goal. They're trying to do many things. But the material world comes up with all kinds of combinations and permutations of challenges for the devotees. And Srila Gurudev used to say, when Guru Maharaj was present, then I'm fearlessly doing so many things, knowing that Srila Guru Maharaj is there with his backing, that if anything a little wrong what I'm doing, then Srila Guru Maharaj will make up that deficiency. But Srila Gurudev would say, but now Guru Maharaj disappeared. Must take full responsibility for everything I do. This kind of mood. And sometimes we feel a little bit like that. But when Gurudev was present, really we know he's there. And we've got that backing. And if we do something which needs some correction, Gurudev is there and he'll make everything perfect. Actually perfect. Because we all need to be brought onto the line always. kept within those railway lines, as we've given as an example before. So we must all be careful with the basis of our devotional life, that we are convinced, that we're repeatedly convinced of why we are doing what we are doing. And repeatedly also convinced that yes, the material world can pose so many challenges to us, but we don't give in to the challenges. We don't let the deluge of the material environment cover us like a tsunami, take us away. Or you may definitely, happily.
I was, as a very young teenager, one of those people that was always attracted to the devotees in the airports. And my parents would be dragging me away, like, you don't want to do that. I'm like, yeah, I do. But my point is that seeds were planted way back then. And it came around again when my son became a devotee and started to talk to me and give me books. And now here I am so many years later. So the efforts of the devotees plant seeds that may take a very long time to sprout from lessons.
And that's why we should all be patient and tolerant about anything which the public means people we meet. They may be a little rough sometimes, but we should not be rough back to them. The devotee should think of our masters, think of what they would say, how they would say it, and at least be polite. And it doesn't matter that somebody doesn't believe in God. I don't believe in God. Okay, but still, you can be polite with them and say, okay, we can appreciate you got your freedom and are thinking like that. But there are those who know these, you may like to hear a few words for them. From them, this is Krishna. So, in a way, I mean, that's just one way we can answer to them. But just to plant some seeds, we do not know in the future what will be. Sometimes people ask me, when did you first meet the devotees? And if I think back, when I was in the street, some devotees, they were in a small car, a van, and I didn't know they were devotees, but they asked me, oh, in this town, is there a place where any shops we can go to and supply incense? We're selling incense. And so I don't know if I was helpful or not, but I did not know they were devotees, but it was only later when we joined the temple and were packing incense and people shaved heads. Oh, okay. I did meet these people a few years ago. Maybe I was helpful to them or not. I do not know for putting them in touch with the soul. But no, we've seen devotees and met devotees. Hare Krishna. And I donated to the devotees because I did buy. I'm not sure if I actually bought it, but I overpaid for something for Bangladesh. The devotees. No, those are LP. It was a vinyl at that time in Oxford Street in London. Then some devotees were enthusiastically signing. Again, I didn't know they were devotees until years later. And we had that album and played it a couple of times, but it was something in the name of a benefit for Bangladesh.
George Harrison.
It may have been, I honestly can't say because I don't even remember what was on it, but it was basically, it was Indian music and it was a way for them to raise funds, presumably for the soul asleep. Hare Krishna. Anyway, definitely traveling a little bit. Oh, yeah, disappearance of Ajita Krishna. Somebody, Sevarupa Devidas's drop this into the chat box. And by the way, in the chat box, she's also put various quotes in accordance with what we were saying, Paramananda was saying earlier on too. I think we can read that. Yes, this is a step back in time, the first quote. Is Bhumao Shalita Padanam. So this verse, Paramananda recited fluently. Then, whose words are these? Is this like an official translation or is this from the Sevarupa?
Probably Prapana Jivanamrita, Maharaj.
When a baby
That's-
tries to walk, he sometimes falls down on the ground, but by taking help from the ground, again he tries. And after a few days, he can walk very easily. Not only that, but after growing up more, he will be able to run very fast. It sounds like Gurudev. Oh, it's divine guidance. Yes, yes, because it's a chatty translation. And the verse is in Prapana Jivanamritam, but then the translations are quite concise. So this is a chatty translation. So he'll be able to run very fast when he grows up. He gets everything, but first he must try. Otherwise, he will not gain anything. That's a beautiful perspective. When we live within this body, there is the possibility of deviation everywhere. Deviation will not come to attack us. Then deviation will not come to attack us if we do not listen to the demands of our mental and physical bodies. Otherwise, deviation is possible for everyone. So the demands of our mental and physical bodies. And yesterday, we were reading Srila Guru Maharaj's words, where he said, the body is innocent. It is the mind that is guilty. And then a little later in the day, so everybody stopped when we were reading this part. Was that, yes, the body is innocent. It's the mind that's guilty. From the mind, the bodily actions come. And so a little later in the day, something happening with one of the devotees, I mean, in a good way, but maybe forgot something. And then he said, body is innocent. as a quick defense. That was Abhinavasundar Prabhu. Someone should go knock on his caravan door. He said, oh, the body is innocent. Okay. So we're talking to the mind. Oh my goodness. And another a longer quote, Sevarupa Devi. That's he put in the box. Sound vibration can work miracles. Sound has the highest capturing capacity. And this quote is from which book, Sevarupa?
Dandavats, Maharaj, Dandavats, dear devotee. Sorry, my internet just dropped there and I got kicked out of Zoom. But what was your question, Gurudev? Which book is?
The sound vibration can work miracles. That quote you put in the books.
I think it's The Golden Volcano of Divine Love.
Okay, so Srila Guru Maharaj's words. Sound vibration can work miracles. Sound has the highest capturing potency. Sound can make or mar. It can do anything. It has such intrinsic capacity. It comes from the subtlemost plane beyond the ether. That universal sound is absolute sweetness and goodness. How much power is there? How it can capture us. Like a blade of grass, we may be played by the current of that sweet sound in such a way that we cannot even trace out our own personality. We may lose ourselves there, but we do not die. This is all about the divine sound coming down to us. The soul is eternal, diving up and down we are played by the current of this sweet sound. We are less qualified than a straw, a blade of grass. And the Krishna sound is so big and so sweet that it can play us in any way it likes. We cannot begin to conceive how much power is in the name, the sound which is identical with absolute goodness and sweetness. Definitely worth our while to step back a little and read those two books, was to hear from our divine masters their expression. You know, it carries weight. That is the sound from the upper world to hear. Then 3rd of June, for those of us on the 3rd of June, then it's the disappearance day of Ajita Krishna, Brahmachari, horrific. And we've heard Gurudev talking about Ajita Krishna time after time. I mean, probably year by year, because he always, when his name comes up, he always has like a soft spot in his heart for Ajita Krishna. And glorifies his service, glorifies his mood, everything. And this is probably a link. Yes, this is a link to Srila Gurudev describing something of the glories of Ajita Krishna. 1 year, it's not, he only once described his glories. And it was so evident, the closeness and mutual appreciation of Ajita Krishna and Srila Gurudev, Govindu Brahmachari, and Gurudev and him, and the vice versa, both ways round. And Gurudev had many challenges in the temple, from quite early days, when Srila Guru Maharaj expressed, when Srila Sridhar Maharaj is expressing that if this boy will listen to me, I see he has that capacity, we should make him my successor. Then so many became envious of Gurudev. Gave him a difficult, very difficult time. Gurudev said, how difficult, very difficult. But Ajita Krishna was a genuine devotee, devoted heart. He wasn't in the temple for a career or to take over from Guru Maharaj, to take the property away. He was a sweet-hearted, 25 hours a day devotee, this kind of nature. And he died very suddenly and immediately and unexpectedly. And he was doing service. He was climbing the tree. And just outside, there was a tree at that time. It's not there now. Gurudev said, right here was that tree. Outside the bandari, the storehouse, the larder, if you like, but the storeroom for the rice, dal, sabji, etc., which are going to be used to cook the Lord's offerings. And that area is where we would take prasada very often, outside that room, seated on the floor. So the kitchen, the bandari, just outside there was a tall fruit tree, and Ajita Krishna Brahmachari, he was climbing that tree to get fruit, and not so high. Gurudev said not so high, but he's climbing the tree, and then he fell from the tree and landed right there, dead. He just died on the spot right there. So he didn't go through any of the troubles that so many do go through. But his passing away was so sudden and unexpected of such a special devotee. And Gurudev told how sad Guru Maharaj was, as well as himself, with his disappearance. So sometimes we do get that question that comes up about our attachment. We are sad that someone's disappeared or died, etc. But the disappearance of devotees, that is really the unhappiness in the heart of devotees. And the material world, we see it. Somebody's cat dies, somebody's dog dies, all sorts of things like this, which it's the world of birth and death. And in the case of pets, children get pets, but they are certain, well, not certain, I suppose, under normal circumstances, the children are going to outlive those pets. And so, birth and death, we see it from an early age. But when devotees leave the world, especially good devotees, the better the devotee, you can say, the sadder the devotees are. I mean, they're going to be sad for everyone. But when there is such an example like Ajita Krishna Prabhu, as we've heard from Srila Gurudev, then Guru Maharaj was sad at his disappearance. Guru and Gurudev himself also very sad. But it gives an opportunity for the glorification. So I think we can read this in our own time. It is Gurudev, 1 year, one time, describing Ajita Krishna stories. Is it in? Okay, I do have to click. Oh, it's an audio. Ah, so it's audio, yes. So you can hear Gurudev's words for 26 minutes. Happily, here's a quote from the audio. Happily, he was doing everything. That type of brahmachari was the wealth of our mission. Also quoting from Gurudev told in this talk, I am fortunate that I have seen like him a great Vaishnava, very rare to get. Oh yes, and then somebody's written. While listening, please note that in Bengal, the expression too much generally means very much. And really, we've had questions come through email, etc., about why does Guru Maharaj say, or why in this case does Gurudev say, too much? And Gurudev used to say, too much devotee. Say, why such and such a person seems too much devotee? Gurudev, I promise you, is not in these cases meaning that he was too much devotee. There must be something wrong, like too much in the form of error. But the opposite means very, very, very much, you can say, this expression as used by Gurudev. So that expression must be within this talk. So also good. I will hear it later on today. We've heard it before, but no doubt here Gurudev must be saying something like, it was too much. But please, no, have been very, very, very much. Right, wow. Sevarupa has been very busy. Sometimes we're on the Zoom. Sevarupa, she can't be on every Zoom. She does have a job and a family, etc. And sometimes Sevarupa, she rescued us by finding the quote that we are trying to think of. So we appreciate very much. Hare Krishna. Jason, how is your search for reality, the beautiful, progressing?
Hello.
Hare Krishna.
I just got back from Costa Rica. I'm actually certified to teach yoga now. I have a 200-hour teaching certificate now with so my teacher is actually someone who lived in New Vrindavan, and he's been part of like the devotee community for 20 years. I've known him for 20 years. He's been part of the community for like 40 years now. So that's kind of the most recent thing. I'm looking at the Thailand flyer. I don't remember who I was supposed to email for that, but I would like to come to there if there's still openings for that.
Did you say you do have the email there?
I think I have the email. I have to dig up. I have the PDF somewhere, but I don't remember exactly where it is. I saved it somewhere.
Okay, it is Paramananda Prabhu's email, I think, is being referred to on that flyer. Maybe Sevarupa Devidas, you can also help us out and put that in the chat box. Or Paramananda Prabhu, but I know he's on the phone with only the little thumbs. Not sure whether.
I mean, you don't have to write to me. You're welcome to come.
Mhm.
We can talk direct now.
Okay.
So please come, but you can write about directions.
I've actually been there already.
Oh, you've been there already. Then it's
Yes,
easy.
2 years ago, I went to India and Thailand, and for one day, I was able to go up and visit. Uh, um, oh, I don't remember his name.
Ilamoy, Ramasundar,
No, like,
Krishna.
Sudhir or Bhakti something. He does the beauty over power.
Oh, Goswami Maharaj.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
him. Okay. I don't remember the name.
Then you know the way.
Yes.
So 7th of October we start, and
Mhm.
officially the festivities are usually finishing more or less on the 17th, but devotees are staying for longer quite
Right.
often.
I was actually planning on staying as long as I could, and I know the place that I stayed last time was really nice, so I can stay there for like a few weeks even beforehand.
So here in the chat box,
Here we go.
yeah, Jason, in the chat box, just copy that out or download it or whatever it may be. Then you've got there the email address to be used for the bookings, inquiry, etc. And you can see Paramananda, who's an easy person to talk to. So you can also get in touch directly.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems like even it's summer in Italy, Maharaj frozen.
Yes.
I don't know if it's coming back or not. Okay, maybe we can. Yeah, we are on time. I think we had our gathering today.
Well, no, we still have to listen. Hear something from Bimala Krishna Prabhu.
Oh yeah,
I think
it's our
Maharaj will
time,
be happy.
Prabhu.
I'll keep it short. I just was thinking about how fortunate we are all to be here and just together. And I think it's in Chaitanya Charitamrita where it said, like, after millions and millions of births, the jiva soul might come across the pure devotee. And just thinking how fortunate that we all are, to have found the pure devotee and Srila Gurudev, Srila Guru Maharaj, and I was also just thinking about how Madhusudan Maharaj is such a pillar of light for all of us to follow, and because he's he's always followed Gurudev, and just appreciation for Madhusudan Maharaj, Srila Maharaj, and Paramananda Prabhu spoke very sweetly today. So I mean, there's nothing I can say that means anything. But anyway, my appreciation to everybody here, my Dandavats.
Jai. Well, we lost our internet somewhere along the way in the middle, but I hope our message to Jason of a welcome and to download that invitation came across. And then I'm happily hearing Bhima Krishna and shyly hearing anything about me, but definitely appreciating his appreciation for the devotees. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay, Jason, sounds like to me like your search for Sri Krishna is continuing happily. And now you are a yoga teacher, by the way. This came up yesterday. We have so many devotees have come through yoga. So as a teacher of yoga, suitably inject Krishna consciousness. Because you are a teacher, they look to you. You have some authority. You're teaching yoga. And yoga is taking us in a direction higher and higher. But what is that direction? It is necessary. It is a suitable environment, and it is necessary not to give just a little bit of the story, but to make available the whole story of yoga. who catches it, who doesn't, doesn't. But out of many yoga students, you will get some who surely will have interest. Yes, I came for a higher life, a higher quality. And now I recognize that yoga is taking us to the eternal, joyful life. So now you are a qualified yoga teacher. Do not only good, do the very best.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Vrindavaneshwari Devi Rasi. Looks like you'd like to say something, even though it's 2 minutes past, 2 minutes past midnight. Oh dear, we're sorry. Vrindavaneshwari in Brazil. Would you like to say something? Looks like you do.
Next meeting, I made some contribution. So
Okay.
good night. Good night for me, né? For everyone. And it's always pleased to be gathered by all of you. Thanks, Nadavat.
Okay, Hare Krishna. We'll give you a chance earlier to say something. And actually, our hour went by very fast today. It's going very quickly. All right. So, dear ones, please do listen to Srila Gurudev's glorification of Ajita Krishna Prabhu. And whenever there's an appearance, disappearance day, and we get the opportunity to hear or read the expressions of Gurudev and Guru Maharaj about those particular devotees, then we must hear their mood behind it, the giving the honor, and see the example of glorifying devotees. And we must always be in that channel and stay as far away as possible from any other channel, not to hear criticism of devotees, not to get involved in all the just the kind of mundane side topics about devotees, but just glorify the devotees. Devotees are rare, and every devotee has got devotion. We must learn how to do everything from our masters. And Gurudev and Guru Maharaj have given us this super example of glorifying the devotees. So great joy comes by remembering the devotees, hearing the devotion of the devotees, and also comes from giving our appreciation to devotees. So I'm selfishly going to get great joy to give appreciation for each of you who are here today. And on the Zoom, on Facebook, in the recorded version. And we are continuing together as a team under the coach of Srila Gurudev, the coach of Srila Guru Maharaj, and with the current of joy, the current of love, sweetness, beauty, all those things. That is what Gurudev and Guru Maharaj gave. And we do have to open our eyes to see it, what they're giving, to open our hearts to receive it. Jai Srila Gurudev Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Guru Maharaj Srila Bhakti Rock Sridhar Dev Goswami Jai. Jai Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Bhaga Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Ki Jai. Vishwaranya Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Shri Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Maharaj. That is the volcano which the golden message of the golden Lord has come in the recent age, the seat of the continuation of Mahaprabhu's current. So Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Maharaj of Srila Gurudev and Srila Guru Maharaj Ki Jai. And all the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Limited devotees everywhere Ki Jai. And Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Tam Patitana Avane Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo. And a special Ki Jai too to Paramananda Prabhu, our senior devotee here from so long before.
Jai Srila Madhusudan Maharaj Ki Jai.
You glimpse of the devotee we were telling you about living in a caravan, Abhinava Sundar Prabhu. He's made it in. The Zoom is just finishing Abhinava Sundar Prabhu, not just beginning. Okay, we're going to book you for next time, though, along so yourself and Vrindavaneshwari and others who may wish to be with us. But we've got you two already booked for some talk, and I think Mahesvari, she'll have more to say next week. And anyhow, all of us together, we sit together happily and have a chat about back to basics. So look forward to being with you all next time too. Jai Srila Gurudev, Jai Srila Guru. Amra Ashchi. Govinda Govinda. Have a good week, or not even a week, a few days in Seva, 25 hours a day till we meet. Hare Krishna. Govinda Govinda.